Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is the last day of the current season, which means that tomorrow is going to be a massive meta update. A lot of new things are going to be incredibly strong. A lot of old things are not going to be anywhere near as strong as they are now. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's not quite here yet. Today we have a different team to use with Lantern, Cresselia, and Shadow Dragonair. I love using Shadow Dragonair. It is getting nerfed in the next season with this Body Slam nerf, but I don't know how much it's going to impact it. It's still going to be one of the best Pokemon to just kind of fast move down for alligators, so I guess we'll have to see. Let's take a look at the battles and see how this team can do. Alright, let's head into game number 1 and see what we can get up to with our Water Gun Lantern in the lead. Alright, a very strong lead for us here, and they're going to instantly swap out to a Charjabug. This is actually not the worst matchup for Dragonair, but it's not going to be a winning matchup in the Zero Shield, especially when they're up energy, unfortunately. But with that said, we have our Cresselia, we have our Water Gun Lantern. I'm not really that scared of Azumarill just in general here, so as long as I can take out this Charjabug and get a farm down with either one of my other two Pokemon, their Azu still has nowhere to go, and I'm kind of fine getting energy lead on my other two Pokemon here. I'm going to let this go. As I said, that Azu would be able to sponge all of my fast move damage and not take that much from Body Slam, so shielding here seems kind of useless. Instead, I'm going to get a massive Psycho Cut down against this Charjabug, get 4 Psycho Cuts, and see hopefully what their third Pokemon might be this game. It is a Lickitung, a bit of a tricky Pokemon for our entire team here, actually. We don't have a hard answer to this, but with the energy lead that we have on Cresselia, we're actually still in a good spot, especially because I know that Azumarill is still around this game. They're going to catch a Grass Knot on their Azu. Luckily, though, since this is a Grass Knot, it's still going to do a lot of damage, put them into 1 Thunderbolt range. We should still be in a pretty good spot here. I can overfarm, I can also swap into my Lantern and make them throw Play Roughs against me there. So if they are running Hydro Pump, they're not going to be able to get the use out of their more efficient move here. They are going to throw Play Roughs. We can survive 2, but the bubbles will start adding up a little bit. It won't put us into 2-shot range anywhere near as soon as they'd probably like it to, but it will put us into Body Slam range. We have to keep in mind Lickitung did swap out with a move. It's going to have quite a bit of energy left over on it, and now they are going to use their first shield on this Azumarill. We have another Thunderbolt on the way, but we do survive this Play Rough here. I'm going to try to get my shields down, or get their shields down rather, from this Azu as much as we can. In comes that Lickitung. They're going to throw Body Slam. Obviously now we're going to have to shield something up, but I can go for a move of myself, put them into 1 charge move range from our Cresselia. Surf is going to come through. Are they going to shield it, or are they just going to let their Lickitung go at this point? I feel like this is their most valuable Pokemon. They probably do have to shield it, which they do. They now have a lot of energy on Cresselia. 2 Moonblasts should be enough to knock out this Lickitung at this point, especially with all the fast move damage that we've done to it. We can survive these Body Slams. It's the Lick damage that does a lot of damage to Cresselia here. Body Slams do almost nothing to us. We survive that so easily. We can get to this next Moonblast, hopefully, before the next Body Slam is reached, and now this Lickitung is going to be knocked out. Azu is still alive, but we have Cresselia, we have a shield, and we have Lantern still all alive here, ready to go. We're going to get the Grass Knot off, CMP this Azu, and take them out, taking game number 1 for our little Cresselia here in the back, getting a nice endgame sweep. GG's to our opponent. Very, very fun game number 1 here. Alright, let's see what we can do in the next game. We're going to have our Water Gun Lantern into the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Very tricky Pokemon for a full team, but fortunately for us, this is running Powder Snow. What this means is they're not going to have anywhere near as much fast move pressure as they would have if they were running Shadow Claw, but they obviously still have Drill Run, a very powerful move, takes almost all of our health on Lantern away, and they're going to swap out instantly to the Poliwrath. So right now they're very weak to a Pokemon known as Annihilate. They have that A-Slash in the lead, they have this Poliwrath here, so there's probably going to be some sort of Annihilate answer in the back, but I'm kind of happy to see this Pokemon here, because honestly, our team is a little bit soft to Poliwrath, just in general. We're going to go for the Moonblast, because even with that debuff, if we can land this move, we could get a full farm down here, I think. Looks like we will be able to, and I'm fine taking this move. I hope it's a Scald. I want to be as low as possible to make it so that A-Slash gets as little farm as they possibly can. Unfortunately, our opponent is smart. They undercharged there, and now we are stopping the tapping on our side. We want to take as much counter damage as possible to, first of all, to desync the switch clocks here. I want my switch clock to come back up, and also to make it so they wouldn't get a huge farm down against us. I can swap out now, go for a Water Gun, and then a Surf to make sure I throw on good timing, and also draw a shield from this Alolan Sandslash. Since they stayed in that lead matchup, I have to assume that they're going to be a little bit weak to Lantern in the back, but this isn't necessarily weak to Lantern, that's an Annihilate. So I guess their Annihilate answer with this team is their own Ape down energy. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess it's the end of the season. People are trying out whatever they can, but this thing got a huge farm down against us. I have a very difficult decision to make. I'm going to come with my Dragonair, shield up a potential Shadow Ball. It's probably going to be a Night Slash, so if they boost and I shield a Night Slash, that could be very bad, but they don't end up boosting. They get to another Night Slash, but that's fine. I know I survive it. I think I see my win condition, but it is actually a little bit tricky to pull off this game. We do get the full farm down here. We have the Aqua Tail loaded, but their Cresselia in the back is very low. Our Dragonair is going to take a lot of fast move pressure, but I think at this point, if I can reach another move with Cresselia, a Moonblast might be enough with as much fast move pressure as I can get here to still win this game. They do have an Ice Punch. It's going to be a fast move farm down race. Can they go for the full Powder Snow down before I can Psycho Cut them down after this move? If they get the full farm down, they win. If I get the farm down, I win. It's going to be a race to the finish. We end up Psycho Cutting down that Alolan Sandslash, just barely taking the win there. GG's to our opponent. All right, next game, Lantern into a Whiscash. Okay, so I know this team. I fought this trainer before. They love running the weird Pokemon. It's going to be a double charm lineup, so I'm going to save swap instantly to my Cresselia here. You might think it's kind of weird. Why would I swap out when the Dragonair is still going to be aligned into those Charmers? Well, the way I want to play this game out is I want to win switch advantage. I'm going to go for Moonblast. They swapped into their Wigglytuff. I believe the second Charmer is going to be a Shadow Alolan Ninetales. They get the first attack drop, or we do, that is. That is fantastic to see. That means that now I think I can guarantee switch advantage this game, and I should be in a much better spot than we were in. We go for another Moonblast, and we get a second attack drop here. That is a 1 in 100 chance. 1 in 10 times 1 in 10. Crazy stuff here, but I mean, they're a double charm user. They deserve this. They honestly really deserve to always lose these kind of games, but I am totally fine just going for these moves now. They Icy Winded us after 2 debuffs. That does nothing. These charms are not adding up at all. Maybe I could have gone for a Moonblast and gone for the farm down there, but I went for the Grass Knot because I thought that was the safer play. I thought a Moonblast wouldn't do as much after that debuff, but I guess they still would have been in Psycho Cut down range. We get the shield from them there. That's fantastic news. I'm going to go for the shield, try to either farm them down or build up to as much energy as I can. They go for the Swift, so we're not even double debuffed. We're only single debuffed, and now we get the full farm down. We're going to see what comes in and throw the move accordingly. If it's a Whiscash, we Grass Knot. Anything else, we probably Moonblast. They do come in with that Alolan Ninetales. We go for the Moonblast, and this is going to do so much damage, put them in the range where our Lantern can easily deal with this. There is still that Whiscash alive, but our Dragonair should have a very strong matchup into it, at least to the point where we can go and get the Body Slam off. They might get to 2 moves in the Zero Shield matchup, because obviously they are the non-Shadow Whiscash, but we should still be in a very fine spot. We survived 1 move, we get the Body Slam off, and we'll put them into farm down range for our Lantern. If we can get any sort of energy lead with Lantern, I know I can reach a move against that Alolan Ninetales before they're going to be able to Psyshock us, so I think at this point, this game is over. That double attack drop on Moonblast definitely helped out, but I think after the first one, this game was just secured for us. We could always flip switch, and now we get this farm down. We have a full Thunderbolt loaded. We're going to throw it against this Alolan Ninetales and take out the double charm team using our Lantern. Very good stuff. Cresselia honestly pulling its weight this game, using all of its luck, but I mean, if you're going to use your luck up somewhere, use it up against double charm. Alright, next game, Lantern in the lead against a Skarmory, one of the best leads to see this time, and what are our opponent going to do this game? They're going to instantly swap. Annihilate up energy is actually very tricky for our team, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the Surf instantly, and then try to swap out accordingly. I think at this point that my Dragonair could be able to sponge this, go for the farm down, especially after that no shield, and hopefully just kind of keep switch advantage in our favor. If it is a Whiscash in the back, Skarm Whiscash is a very common duo. We should be in a decent spot still. They do end up getting to another move. Unfortunately, this will be a Night Slash. It's not going to one-shot us, but it will put us kind of low. I hope they don't boost, because if they do, I might not get to 2 moves. They literally do boost. Okay, so I got lucky last game. They kind of get a little lucky this game. Obviously, they would have much preferred to boost on that first move, but they still boost on that second one. I think that increased counter damage actually makes it so I only get to 1 Aqua Tail here, which is super unfortunate. Yeah, we get farmed down at the last second, and now even though Lantern can absorb this energy, I would have loved if this was in range where Cresselia could still deal with it. It's going to come down to that final Pokemon, though. Okay, yeah, we're not beating that. That's a huge core breaker. The Ghost and Dragon-type Pokemon Giratina able to core break us there pretty hard. Okay, but I guess this is the run back here. We have another Skarmory in the lead, and this time they safe swap the Poliwrath. We still have our Dragonair alive, just in case there is another Giratina in the back. We can hope there isn't, but if there is, maybe there's still a chance for us right now. We're going to no-shield the Icy Wind. Once again, I want to be as low in health as possible, because that Skarmory is going to come back in, they're going to get a full farm down against us, and it's going to do so much damage to our Lantern, even though it's resisted with Brave Birds. I know the non-Shadow Poliwrath, I can't really one-shot with a Moonblast after debuff, so I'm going to go for these Grass Knots, try to get the shield from them, or at least knock this out consistently. I don't have a hard answer to Poliwrath on my team. Well, I do. It's this Cresselia. The rest of my team, rather, very weak to this Pokemon, especially the Water Gun Lantern's not anywhere near as strong as Spark, so I want to knock it out. In comes the Skarmory. As I said, they're going to get a massive farm down against us. I don't like this, but I kind of have to do this. They weren't going to throw a move, or if they were, it was going to be a Scald that would knock me out, so I kind of had to let them get this huge farm down against us. It's not the best thing to see, but Lantern is still bulky. We should be able to survive 2 Brave Birds, and I mean, these Moonblasts are kind of adding up, I guess. Almost already in the 40% health range, or 60%. We've done about 40% of their health with those 2 Moonblasts, and we will be able to absorb a Brave Bird with our Lantern. They can't store back-to-back Brave Birds, so they're probably going to throw one and then swap out, which is exactly what we're going to see them do, and into the Whiscash. This time we did actually have the proper backline call, and this is a much better matchup because we can go for these Body Slams, we can go for these Dragon Breaths. I've already torn through their health so much at this point. I can go for this Body Slam, and the second that I land this move or get a shield, I should be able to win this game. Are they going to shield or are they going to let it go? They do end up shielding because at this point they kind of need to keep their Whiscash alive. It's their only hope against our Lantern right now. We're going to shield up though. If they're going to shield, we're going to shield. And I know we can get to another Body Slam here before they're able to reach another Mud Bomb. We can throw this move. We're going to almost certainly get a shield from this. If they let this go and farm us down, that could be a little dicey depending on how this game plays out. But they do shield it up. I know I can shield. I can go for the fast move pressure here to put them into Water Gun downrange and then Thunderbolt that Skarmory and take the win here. They actually swap out instantly to Skarmory. We catch the Sky Attack on our Lantern. I knew they were going to try to snipe down our Dragonair. We go and catch this move. We're going to try to get the Thunderbolt off as well. It's going to come down to the wire, though. They're very close to another move here. They're at the move right now. They have the Brave Bird. If they would have reached that one turn earlier, they might have actually been able to knock us out and take the win this game. But this Thunderbolt is reached. That Whiscash does come back in. Even if they get a move, our Dragonair is still alive. We can Dragon Breath them down. They would need 2 Mud Bombs, and they just barely got to this one. I think at this point we have secured this game, and we will take the win against the Skarmory lead, coming back and winning it after losing to the previous Skarmory lead in that previous game. Alright, Vigoroth in the lead this time. Very neutral matchup. I actually don't hate this matchup as the Lantern, just because we kind of outbulk and outdamage them just with our Water Guns and our Surfs. This matchup can be flipped if they want to start investing shields, but I think at this point I'm kind of fine with that. If they go down shields, Dragonair in the back is generally pretty strong, and if they do start shielding, I just come in with Crest, and I can absorb all of their energy and damage that they're going to have with Counter and Body Slam. I'm going to throw the first Surf. It could be a Thunderbolt. Maybe they'll shield this up. They let it go, and they will get to another Body Slam. This is a little bit unfortunate. Our Lantern is going to be very low, but at this point I want to be as low as possible before I throw my next move to guarantee they don't get a huge farm down on whatever their final Pokemon, or I guess their second Pokemon at this point is going to be. I throw the Surf, it'll either get a shield or a knockout. They let their Vigoroth go, and in comes a Shadow Feraligatr. This Pokemon is very scary up energy, but we have our Shadow Dragonair. As I was saying at the start of this video, this is one of the few Pokemon that you can just double shield and then farm this all the way down. It's a very flexible pick. It's going to come down to their final Pokemon at this point to see how much play we're going to have this game. They're overfarming a lot. Hydro Cannon would one-shot us at this point, but this Body Slam will knock them out as well. Very likely going to see a shield if they're weak to Dragonair in the back, and they must be with the way that they're shielding this move. They throw another Hydro Cannon. They're dry on energy now. What is their final Pokemon going to be this game? A Skeledirge. Okay, so they are weak to Dragonair, but man, they're so strong against Cresselia right now. This is not looking amazing for us. I can catch a move. They're at a Disarming Voice. If I swap right now and catch the move properly, I should be able to be in a good spot this game. They kind of had to throw that attack, because if they went for another Incinerate, I could have reached another Aqua Tail against them. So if they throw that move and I catch it, that is probably the only way we can still win this game. I know at this point the only way they can win this matchup specifically is if they go for the perfect undercharge with the Shadow Ball. They get 3 Incinerates coming out of this matchup, and if they don't do that, which it looks like they won't, I'm pretty sure at this point they're going to be 2 Incinerates away from another move. I can go for the Dragon Breath down against this Skeledirge, Body Slam that Feraligatr, and take the win just barely against the double Gator backline. GG's to them. Skeledirge, a very scary Pokemon for Cresselia to see, but Dragonair just putting in so much work in this backline and taking out both the Gator and the Skeledirge. Alright, next game, we're going to have our Lantern in the lead against a Shadow Quagsire. Not the best Pokemon to see, but if this doesn't have Mud Bomb, which most of them don't, we're actually going to be in a pretty decent spot here. What are they going to throw? They throw after 6. That is probably going to be a Mud Bomb, unfortunately. I don't like this, but I do have to no-shield. I shouldn't have stayed in this matchup knowing this moveset, but also if I would have swapped into my Shadow Dragonair, this also would have been kind of awkward because they could have gone for a Mud Bomb there and then swapped out. It's kind of going to come down to the backline at this point to see how much play we're going to have. They swapped to their Skarmory, so interesting duo at this point. Very spicy stuff with the Quagsire and Skarmory right now. They probably have to have some sort of Poliwrath answer in the back. If they don't, then they're just going to lose to every Poliwrath they're going to see, but I guess Mud Bomb Quagsire helps out with that a little bit. They do throw a move. I want to be able to get switch advantage of this game if possible, because I know that my Cresselia against that Quagsire is going to be much better than our Lantern into it. We throw yet another Aqua Tail. If I can farm them all the way down before they get to another move, we should be in a decent position here. I do tap my Sphere as much as possible right now. We get the farm down against the Skarmory, and what is going to come in to absorb our energy? Oh my goodness, a Bastiodon? Are you kidding me? They have a Bastiodon with a Quagsire and a Skarmory, that is just so depolygraphed. I guess they're already playing the new season because they are pretending like that doesn't even exist. They throw a Mud Bomb against our Lantern. That is so bad to see. They also go for the Aqua Tail. That is really bad for us right now because we shielded a move we really shouldn't have. I want this Quagsire out of the way, but now that I've shielded that move, our Lantern is completely shieldless. We don't have any way to protect it. If they ever get a Stone Edge against us, then we're going to get knocked out by that plus the Smackdowns. I think right now we are in a bit of a tricky position. Cresselia isn't necessarily the worst Pokemon against Bastion. We have a lot of play with these Grass Knots, but Psycho Cut is resisted. Smackdowns and Stone Edges are going to add up, and Bastion is just so incredibly bulky. At this point, I probably need another like 4 Grass Knots to reach this game, and I don't think I have it in me. Cresselia might be able to survive this in the future once Smackdown is nerfed, but at this point, it's just not going to happen. I think they're going to be able to overfarm as much as possible here, get to 2 Stone Edges almost. They can never store 2 Stone Edges, but they're going to be 2 off of the next Stone Edge right now. So my best bet is to try to throw this Grass Knot, try my very best to farm them all the way down with Lantern, but I think at this point they have us. They're going to survive this move easily. They no-shield that, and now they have another Stone Edge. Now that we get knocked out with our Lantern, our Cresselia is just going to get smacked down, and we're going to lose this game, unfortunately, to the Quagsire, Skarm, and Basti lineup. Very annoying stuff, but GG's to them. They played that one very well. All right, next matchup here, we have our Water Gun Lantern into a Shadow Magnezone, another Steel type. We're seeing a lot of Steel types here today. I actually saw a ton of Shadow Steelix today as well. It was very frustrating because our first couple of sets went really well, and I kept on seeing Shadow Steelix every single game, it seemed, and we started to lose some elo, but we still went pretty positive on the day despite that. But Shadow Steelix, like, where did that even come from? All right, so they went for the Wild Charge, they swapped out, and since we were Water Gun Lantern, that Magnezone is nowhere near as safe into us as it would be if we were Spark. They swapped into Mandibuzz, which is a very interesting safe swap. A lot of people are going to have a hard answer to this. I mean, Wigglytuff Lantern, that's a pretty common duo, right? I could have had that, but since I guess I don't run Wigglytuff too much, they know that they can easily safe swap this against me, and it is a little bit awkward into our Dragonair and Cresselia backline. They shielded up our first move. We're going to go for yet another move against them, and now at this point, the only way I can really see myself winning this game is if I get a nice farm down here, they bring back in that Magnezone, or they're just not really strong against our Dragonair in the back, and maybe I'm still going to have some play, because now they have switch advantage, basically. They have a little bit of health missing on that Magnezone, so maybe a Moonblast would be enough to knock it out, but at this point, this is just going to be so awkward for me to win. I've already taken half of my Dragonair's health with that one Dark Pulse, but in comes a Cresselia. Okay, this is a little bit of hope for me this game. I'm going to try to catch a Grass Knot here because I thought they might try to snipe me down, but they don't quite get to it. I can reach my Moonblast before they're able to reach a Wild Charge. This is not going to knock them out, but man, it's still going to do a lot of damage to his Shadow Magnezone. It nearly does knock them out. I get the attack drop again. Cresselia, you are a monster here. I'm going to no-shield this move. They are at the Wild Charge plus the Mirror Shot, so I want to make sure I don't shield a bait. Unfortunately, though, they go for the big move here. We take a ton of damage on a Cresselia, but I think because of that debuff, we are still outside of range where we could get knocked out by one move from the Cresselia. We have a lot of energy on our Dragonair. At this point, I think the way to lose this game is if they get a Moonblast on us, and then they farm us all the way down. But they go for the Grass Knot. That's not going to knock us out here, and then they CMP us again with this Grass Knot. This is so awesome. Now we have so much energy on Dragonair. They expended all of their energy on Cresselia, and now as long as we can land a Body Slam, maybe 2, we can knock out this Cresselia with Fast Move Pressure and Charge Move Pressure. Are they going to be able to get to 2 Grass Knots before we can get to these 3 Body Slams? That is the question right now. They throw one move. Are they at the back-to-back? I'd be very surprised with how much energy they threw at our own Cresselia, but they do throw this move. Where is their energy at? They are not going to get the move. We get the Dragon Breath down, just barely taking the game against a very tricky Shadow Magnezone team. All right, Lantern lead into an Altaria. This is a very bad matchup to see here. We're going to safe swap our Shadow Dragonair and hope they don't have a hard answer for us right now. What are they going to do? They're doing a lot of fast move pressure, but then they swap into a Shadow Alolan Sandslash. That is not what we want to see. This is at least not a Powder Snow variant, which means that we're not going to get fast move down as quickly. But honestly, I think I would have preferred that because now they're going to have a lot of neutral damage into both our Lantern and then super effective damage if they somehow take out our Lantern with this A-Slash into our Cresselia. So I will shut that up because I want to get shields down if possible, and now I will get farmed down, but maybe there's a chance we have play with our Cresselia in the backline. This could be their one answer to it. I've seen a lot of Altaria plus Quagsire or Whiscash duos. At this point, that's about all I can really hope for. If it is that, then maybe proper energy management with Cresselia could win us this game. I'm going to swap in for a very ambitious farm down. We do get it right before they get a move. I need as much energy as I can get on our Cresselia, but they have another Shadow Claw user. The Feraligatr comes in, and while we do have Grass Knot Feraligatr, it might be squishy, but it's not going to get knocked out by one from our Cresselia, and I know that they're going to be able to land a Hydro Cannon or maybe even a Crunch against me depending on their moveset. They throw a move. I think at this point I have to shield it up, and I have to hope that they don't actually have Crunch. They do throw the Hydro, they get to another, and now I don't really know how we can win this game. I do have my Cresselia still alive. It could maybe somehow get to a Moonblast against that Altaria, but I don't think I did enough Dragon Breath damage to put them in range where Moonblast will knock them out. Lantern is also so low at this point. I think we're in range of a Moonblast, and they have a lot of energy from that overfarm they had against our Dragonair. Even though we're making this game so close for how RPS it was so far, I think we will still lose this game just barely to this Altaria, getting to this Moonblast and taking out our Lantern. GG's to our opponent. I tried my best here. I think that was about as RPS as it could be, but I mean, I still almost pulled it out. But yeah, next game, hopefully a much better lead this time. Is it going to be a Vigoroth? Vigoroth, a very neutral matchup, as we've shown in this video. How are they going to play it out? This Pokemon actually used to have a ground-type charge move of Bulldoze. Honestly, maybe it's about as good as its other moves after all of its moves that are getting nerfed this season. Vigoroth, honestly, is one of the biggest targets of the moveset update. Body Slam, Counter, Rock Slide, all nerfed, so it's going to be a much worse Pokemon, and Lantern is just going to win this matchup even harder when the Surf buff happens. Well, I guess I shouldn't call it a Surf buff. It's a damage buff, but the energy is also being increased, so it'll be interesting to see if Lantern's kind of like gone next season or if it's still going to be around. They are throwing the double body slam here. Luckily, no Bulldoze shenanigans from this Vigoroth, and we get to this last move at just a sliver of health. I wanted to make sure once again that we're as low as possible to give whatever comes in less farm than they probably would want to get, and that is a very good thing, because if I gave that for Alligator like 5 Shadow Claws, that would have just been kind of game over there. We do shield up this move. It's probably just going to be a Hydro Cannon, but it would almost one-shot us, so I do want to shield it up anyway, just because of how awkward it would be for our Cresselia to deal with this for Alligator. I also kind of wonder what their final Pokemon's going to be at this point. It could be a Skeletor just like last time. It could be a Charjabug, Gligar. There are basically anything that could beat Annihilate in the back would be paired with a Vigoroth. They are throwing yet another move. Luckily this time though, it's a Crunch. Crunch is going to do a lot more damage if we would have no-shielded that, but we end up shielding it. They do get the defense drop, but that doesn't really matter because I will swap out after landing this Aqua Tail. They end up shielding that, but the Dragon Breath damage that I got onto this Gligar should actually put them in range where I can land 2 Grass Knots and knock them out after a little bit of Psycho Cut pressure. That, for Alligator, did swap out with basically no energy left over, so as long as I have a little bit of overfarm with our Cresselia, we should be able to win this game. I do see that they're non-Shadow Gligar as well, which means I take almost no damage from these digs. They're going to have to land 3 charge moves rather than 2. If they were Shadow, it only takes 2 digs plus some wing attacks to knock me out, but because of this non-Shadow Gligar, I can survive this move, get to my Grass Knots here, make sure I wait a turn to see if they're going to catch. If they were going to catch, I'd overfarm a little bit, but since they don't catch, I can throw this Grass Knot, knock out this Gligar, and then get to my next Grass Knot and knock out this for Alligator Cresselia, closing out the backline with very good energy management, taking out both that non-Shadow Gator and the non-Shadow Gligar. GG's to our opponent. Let's see if we can keep on catching these leads here. Vigoroth lead, obviously not like a great lead, but it's better than these really bad leads we've been seeing. Okay, well, speaking of leads, a Pelipper, a very strong lead for Lantern, although we are running the Water Gun variant. Our opponent did not know that, though. They swapped into their Galarian Stunfisk at this point. That is not an answer to a Water Gun and Surf user. That is fantastic to see, but this is still a little bit awkward because I wouldn't mind keeping my Lantern on that Pelipper if we can, but because of how much Water Gun damage I got off onto it, I'm kind of fine just absorbing all of this damage on Cresselia, and then I think Dragonair, it's not even going to be that bad into the Pelipper as well if we can happen to align into that. We will take that Earthquake easily. We can take another one as well. And at this point, we might even be able to take a Rock Slide. Cresselia is just so bulky at this point. It's going to be kind of iffy. Can we survive a Rock Slide at this point? Because if we can, then we're going to be able to take both Switch and Shield advantage of this game. They are going to survive that Grass Knot, but we are at the next one after this move. That's only a Rock Slide. I know this for a fact. If we survive this, which our Cresselia hangs on 1 HP, it does survive that move. We get this Grass Knot off, and it will either knock out this G-Fisk or take both shields from our opponent. That is totally fine by me. I can farm this down with either one of my Pokemon. I'm going to choose a Lantern to try to farm it down before they get to another move, which we are able to do. It's going to come down to if they have a massive core break in the backline, but they don't. They have a Superior, so our Shadow Dragonair up 2 shields will be able to sweep this backline. We can shield a Weather Ball here, CMP on the next Weather Ball with a Body Slam, knock out this Pelipper, and Dragonair, it's going to be able to take out that Superior very easily. We have a lot of energy on Dragonair, CMP right when they get that move. I don't want to take any unnecessary damage, because if I somehow got knocked out with Dragonair, our Lantern would be in a very bad spot against that Superior. Probably about the worst Pokemon it could really see in the first place. And this Body Slam, it won't knock out this Superior necessarily, but it will start whittling it down, put it into range where the next Body Slam will knock out. Even if they somehow do knock out a Dragonair at this point, though, we have a Thunderbolt nearly loaded on our Lantern. That would pretty much knock out the Superior, even though it is resisted because of how strong of a move it is. But we do just reach this move before our Superior, or before their Superior knocks out a Dragonair. We can take the win against the Pelipper lead. GG's to our opponent. So yeah, these were some of the last battles that I had this season here in GBL. A lot of fun games with Shadow Dragonair kind of sweeping backlines and just using a lot of good fast move pressure and energy management with it to try to win games. It's going to be interesting to see how the meta shifts tomorrow, but I think Shadow Dragonair could still have a place as one of the best answers to Feraligatr. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching today's video. I stream Pokemon Go PvP nearly every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, so if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. Also, I'm going to upload a lot more content like this, so if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Alright, well, thank you again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.